Johny Appleseed walked for miles and miles, shared his stories and his smiles. Johny cared for little plants, aww, children, forests, birds, and ants. He planted lots of apple seeds so farmers could have apple trees. The only thing to forget to mention that when he was actually alive, they were using those apples for cider because that was the choice of drink and American diet at the time. Just about an hour from San Diego, there is a small mining town famous for its apple orchards and apple pies. Hello, my friends. We are in Julian today to taste apple pies that they're so famously known for. And I am not the biggest fan of apple pies, probably because I never had a really good one. So that's why I'm here to taste different kinds. And in the end, I'm going to tell you the history of apple pies, and I'll tell you the history of apples in general, and a Julian too. And then I'm going to rate them and tell you why, and we'll figure out where life takes us. Are we jaywalking? There are a few pie bakers in Julian. The most known one are Julian Pie Company and Mom's Pie House, and I would add Apple Alley into the mix, all within walking distance. They're so pretty. The first stop is Mom's Pie House. It's been around for almost 40 years. Smells like cookie dough and super cozy. I'm looking for a slice of apple pie. So when tasting apple pie, look for apples that are tender, but in distinct chunks, with just a bit of al dente bite to them. Wow. The apples they're using are granny apples. And they're the star of the show, I'm telling you. And then the crust, there's two kinds of crusts. There's this one, and then there's another one, I forgot how it's called. But it's very crumbly. This one has sweetness added, not too much, but I think the other one does not. But apples are definitely star of the show. They're not they're sweet, but they have the tartness in them, so that cuts out the sweetness. So I really do like it. Apples were originated thousands of years ago from Central Asia, and eventually they found their way to Europe. And only when pilgrims arrived to America, they brought apple seeds along with other crops. So good, right? And apple pie originated in England in 1390, and eventually was brought to America. Apple Alley Bakery is not as well known, but also has some special pies worth to check out. I got here boysenberry apple pie. I heard they also have really good pecan pie, so next time. When tasting a crust, look for a tender and flaky texture and mild flavor, so the filling can shine through. And the top is very flaky. Ooh, it's flaky. I have a special feeling for this one because it has berries and it just cuts out that sweetness for me, so I'm gonna keep eating. Julian is a cute little town with some artsy shops. You will need to walk off your pies. She knows I just ate a lot of pies. So.
Where did you get that jacket? That's nice.
Oh, it's warm too. Julian became an apple country during the gold rush. People started moving in and brought, along with other crops and livestock, apple trees. And the trees thrived in the area. Gold rush was over, Appleseed. Now farmers grow 21 types of apples here. So this is their famous Julian Pie Company. We're gonna yet to discover how good it is. I'm sure it's good. Julian Pie Company is also just under 40 years old. The business expanded and the pie is sold in markets of Temecula and San Diego areas. Famous Julian Pie from Julian Pie Company lives up to the hype. I like the crust. It has no, actually it's not, there's no sugar. So this crust is a little bit different and it's not sweet at all, which is good because this is very sweet. So $5.25, with tax is $5.66. There's tax in this? Just one more stop before pie rating. Absolutely favorite warm Hearth store.
I ain't got no money.
I've been thinking of a phrase as American as apple pie. Technically, pie is from Europe and apples are from Asia. But then they were brought to America by immigrants. People fell in love with it and it became part of the melting pot. So maybe actually it is as American as it gets. And here I am, a first-generation Armenian, dancing in my Western boots to a country song. Moment of truth. Okay, so price-wise they were all the same. Well, I did like here that the tartness was cutting down the sweet. However, when I noticed the crust here had less butter, so it was a little bit lighter. Mom's had the most butter. Who can complain, right? But and it was very flaky. Also the apples, you could totally taste apples, and apples they were sweet, but they were tart, and that tartness was enough to cut down the rest of the sweetness, and it felt like homemade. Now the pie company, I like the crust. It's very delicious. The apples, too sweet, and maybe it's good with in contrast with a crust, but I still felt that Mom's apple was the star of the show, so I liked it the best. They're all three of them delicious, including Julian Pie Company, but out of those three, Mom's 1, Apple Lane 2, and Julian Pie Company 3. So yeah, we did it, and it's cold, and we're gonna go to do some shopping, go inside a little bit more, and then we're off home.